afternoon. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Lehigh County Authority Board of Director meeting. Today is March 9th, 2026. The meeting has been held in the private fashion, either live or via the Zoom meeting. The agenda and the stuff for the meetings today was mailed and emailed to the LCA board members and also was posted online. Lisa, would you please roll call for the board of directors?
You bet. Roll call on the board. Amir Famili.
Here.
Jeff Morgan.
Here.
Ted Lyons. It's like he hopped off, but hopefully we'll get him back. Linda Rosenfeld. Here. Kevin Baker. Sean Ziller. Peter Dent.
Here.
Well, I mean, all right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 board members, so we do have a quorum, and hopefully Ted will be back to make 6.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Going through the agenda, any changes on agenda and any need for the executive sessions?
There are no changes to the agenda. However, there will be an executive session following the close of the meeting to discuss that personnel matter.
Thank you, appreciate that. Going to the next items, approval of the meeting from the February 23rd.
I move that the minutes be approved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. The motion made by Linda, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, I appreciate that. There's no committee report. Any public comment, anything which is not on the agenda?
No, thank you, Amir.
Jenny? Okay, going to the agenda for today, the finance and administration, the digital IT master plan, which is on the 10 pages, digital package page 8 to 57.
All right, and just to make note that I believe Ted has re-entered the meeting.
I have, yes.
So he's here for this one. This is our only action item for today, so we'll make it a good one to present our IT technology digital master plan project to our Steve Boone, and this is one.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So this is a request for authorization for a digital and information technology master plan, which includes professional services with a consultant. I normally don't read, but I'm just going to read the first paragraph because it perfectly summarizes what we're trying to do. We're seeking to develop a comprehensive digital and information technology master plan to modernize our technology environment, align with our strategic goals. This is going to enable us to enhance our operational efficiency, improve our customer experience, strengthen infrastructure resilience, ensure cybersecurity compliance, and it is absolutely going to position us as a resilient, data-driven utility, keyword data-driven, preparing for the future. To do that, there's a slew of things that I'm not going to read in a list, but that sets the vision that the master plan will explore, that we needed to explore. Many of these things we do, but just to set a little background, the last time we've done a IT master plan was 2018. So we're 8 years, we're well overdue to do this again. That was before AI. So the technological landscape has changed pretty dramatically. We have many departments. We use lots of softwares. And like I said, keyword data driven. The data that we produce and consume is huge. And we really need a roadmap, a comprehensive, robust evaluation of what that's going to look like to make sure that we are using the right softwares, have the right integrations between programs and groups, and how we produce and consume that data. Compliance, accounting. So all of this falls under that umbrella, and we need help, outside help. So we went through a competitive proposal evaluation process. 5 firms responded. It was very competitive. These are big national firms that do this type of work. That's what we need to do this appropriately. I've explained this to you before, but we have we have a review committee, and each committee member does independent scoring. It's objective, and we unanimously agreed that Black & Veatch was best positioned to do this work. We have a very good history with them. We've done some work with them in the digital space, and the work plan that they proposed is commensurate with what we need. And Chris, I don't know if you had anything to add on the technical front, but so we're asking for authorization to use Black & Veatch as our consultant and proceed with this work. We would like this to be a bit of a quick hitter. This is a 9-month schedule, so we'd like to be done with this by the end of the year so that we can begin to implement the roadmap and make some, which will guide some decision-making that we need to do also this year to really advance our systems so that we have the efficiency we need as we're growing and consuming, quite frankly, more data. So that's my little overview, and as always, open it up for questions.
Any question for the board member?
Yeah, can you just give a little background on like what your big software items are, as far as just to refresh my memory of what you're using, like, for SCADA, for billing, for the construction management, like what are the City Works, I think was thrown around.
Yeah.
So if you could just highlight a couple of those things.
Yeah, just to highlight a few. So our you mentioned SCADA. We use Capch and have transitioned to Ignition out in Suburban and are transitioning to Ignition currently in the city. Our CMMS, which is computerized maintenance management software, is CityWorks. We are evaluating because CityWorks was acquired by Trimble. So CityWorks itself is going to be sunsetting, and Trimble Unity is becoming what that new platform would be. But we're at a good time to reevaluate exactly what our CMMS software and platform need to do. So this master plan will help to evaluate that. For construction management, we use Procore. That was something that was implemented 2 years ago. It's been very successful in the engineering department. It's a project management tool. Munis is our accounting software. With some other GIS is a huge one. I mean, that's when we talk about data and database, the geographic information systems, which is Esri platform. That really is, that's the, what do you like to call it? The source of truth. The GIS is the source of truth for a lot of what we do, particularly the CMMS. And then in compliance, Andrew works with LIMS, which is lab management software. So that's a few highlights.
So are you looking to add on to those, or have these all integrated together, or kind of what's the goal?
So we're going to evaluate all of the current systems we have. So we are a Microsoft house as well. So at the crux of everything we do operate solely on the Microsoft platform. And the intent, Jeff, is that we have data in so many different buckets. And this is just honestly one small section of it, is we're looking for a way to aggregate all this data, a data lake, data house, warehouse, whatever term you choose. And it's going to allow us to actually report on projects in real time. We'll be able to actually use financial data, project data, and SCADA data to help make decisions moving forward for, other capital projects. Right now, the biggest problem we have is LCA is remarkably good at collecting data, and we're remarkably good at reporting single stream data. Where I think we lack, and what a portion of this plan is going to help us solve, is aggregating all that information into a spot where, the leadership team and other managers and supervisors can look at a single point of information, a dashboard that will allow decisions to be made. So as it stands, I know Steve mentioned, 5 or 6 or 8 pieces of software. I ran a report last week, and we have 238 pieces of software. I don't think we need 238 pieces of software. So what's going to happen through the process of, again, one portion of this plan is Black & Veatch is going to help us evaluate each piece of the software to see whether or not it's worth maintaining the licensure for it. It could save us a couple bucks here and there in the end. They may help us say, well, we already have this piece of software and you could use it better with additional training, with a wider scope of use. So, to say this is a simple master plan, this is the growth of the first master plan, where the first one was focused on security, infrastructure, making sure that, the engine is tuned. This is going to allow us to kind of move forward into the future with data.
Thank you.
That was probably more than you wanted.
No, I tried. No, that's what I wanted to understand. Thank you.
Any other question? Couple questions from my end. So the outcome of this study is going to be what? Is that something that we have to spend more money to integrate the whole thing? So this is just the first phase, look at what software they have and what are the points, and then we have to spend a lot more money to integrate the whole thing together?
I think, look, use the word phase. I think that's reasonable to call this phase one. We will be spending more money on the integrations and the software implementations, however that all plays out. This is going to prevent us potentially spending bad money, where, we think we know what we need and we didn't do this appropriately without that robust planning effort. We could easily be going down because things are changing so fast in the technological landscape that we might be reactive instead of proactive. So that's the way I look at it. So this is phase one. Phase two will be the purchase of new software as needed, elimination of many softwares as needed, and then really just the integration so that the data warehouse is something that is more accessible to all of its users.
And to be fair, this is a master plan like any other master plan. This is going to help lay us out for the next several years of projects that would need to be done regardless. What I think this is going to help us do greatly is prioritize those plans. So we actually approach them in a systematic manner to get them accomplished the right way over several year period.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of questions because a lot of money we spend, right? So 425,000 is not, this is the first phase. So we just spend a lot of money in Munis and the Procore and so on and so forth. So those by itself, giving us, we talked that Procore and the Munis are gonna, all the numbers and how much we spend going to be together, and we can make a decision how much money we spend. Is the project on time or not on time? So why we need to bring another layer at the top and we can make a decision here?
A lot of the data just lives in too many different locations, and we do.
I'm focusing on Procore and I'm focusing on Munis. Those two things, I just said that, this number is here, that number is here. I was told, we heard all over here, that the Munis and Procore, they're gonna work together, we can decision on the project, where we're going, where we're not going.
That's in process. Currently, our IT team is working with Velocimo to do that integration that we were talking about. So that is in process. Velocimo, the company that is going to integrate Procore with Munis, has all of our API backend information. And right now they're working in the test environment to verify that the numbers are accurate and pulling in
So
properly.
why do we need to have a plan for what we spend the money right now? I mean, you guys mentioned that part of this thing is for the Munis and the Procore. My question is that,
I would argue that whether it did or not, I don't know, but I would argue that what the Procore and Munis were a part of would have been part of a 5-year previous master plan. Those are things that had to be implemented. Whether or not it was a recommendation from the previous plan, but the way I view this, again, because this master planning is kind of what I do. Pines Island Master Plan, you saw me present that last April, and we're acting on it. The projects that are identified in a master plan become the capital plan, right? And that's where we work with John. So 8 years ago, whether or not Procore and Munis were recommended, they should have been, because those were no-brainers. Munis is our ERP for finance and customer service, and that needed a re-implementation. We didn't have a project management software. We were using SharePoint, we were using Excel, Windows, the server. And there was no unified project management software for our project. We did well, we managed the projects, but it wasn't being collected in a repository that was allowing us to necessarily make good decisions, or the best decision. So I would argue that those two things should have been recommended prior and were implemented earlier. And this is now all right, AI is now in the picture, machine learning's in the picture. A lot of things are now in play that just weren't 8 years ago. And I don't want us to make a mistake and spend bad money, like I said. We need this to guide a capital plan, just like Klein's Island has a capital plan based on a master plan. The water filtration plant, it's the same thing, and the landscape is of a bigger scale when you think about that this is every department and everybody's using a piece of software.
My struggle that I'm trying to get my head around is integration of your customer services metric with the KPI you have for the plant. Whether they're integrated or not, it brings zero value. Right? I'm just, right, if you have our Munis, we have our Procore, right? And I'm trying to see, can you quantify for me that I'm spending the first phase, 425,000, and there's gonna be another, the same amount or more because software are not cheap. Are we spending $1 million? What do we get in return? Because there is, all the projects are good, but we have to look at as a stakeholder. Where do we spend? Is it better to spend the money on a capital project, or we have efficiency, which only brings 1% efficiency for me? I'm just trying to see what is the efficiency on the $1 million that we're gonna be spending, or minimum, I don't know, it's gonna be more or less, right? I'm just trying to get my head around where is that efficiency that you guys talk?
Sure.
Do you mind if we switch away from Munis and Procore for a second? I probably can give you a better example. So one of the big things that I'm looking forward to is the integration of SCADA and our project management software and our asset management software. So right now I can go to SCADA and I can give you flows for the last 15 years. I can give you some, engine runs, some motor run times, some, any sort of information required to run our system. One of the intents of, again, the small portion of the data integration, there's cyber, there's 100 other things that's going to happen, is that we will be able to marry the SCADA data, the runtime information, the actual life cycle of the machinery that operates our plants with the asset management plan that we're going to put together for the following year. So we can see if pumps are running inefficiently, if they're running beyond their useful life. It's all part of that. It's all under the same kind of integration umbrella in my mind.
On that point, I do agree with you. I'm just, in my head, the challenge is for me, you're trying to go this wide. I'm saying, do the integration where you need it, right? You guys just, I'll go back to my point. You just said, Munis and Procore is part of this. We just spend the money. Why we need to integrate them when they are integrated already?
Well, so that's a great point, Amir. And it will be integrated already. So getting it to this centralized data lake will be a snap because that first portion's already done. We'll be able to pull that information in, marry it up to the asset management plan, and make better decisions related to the actual numbers.
Yeah, if I could just add something, because I hear what you're saying, right? I think like the data integration, the data lake, getting better metrics is going to help us with operational efficiencies, which are, I think there is value there. But there are aspects of this plan that are pieces of how we operate that are just missing. Like document management is a major part of this master plan. We currently don't have a document management plan. We've got data on G Drive, we've got data on SharePoint, we've got data in Teams. We can't access information when we need it, and it's creating problems for us in getting work done. Can't find information that we need. So document management, I think, is a piece of this that will really set us up for the next part. Steve mentioned CMMS. We've been struggling with our CityWorks. We are not able to do the things we want to do in terms of how we maintain our equipment, that there's a cost associated with that. Maybe we're maintaining something on a frequency that we shouldn't. It should be run to fail instead of, changing, modifying it every 6 months. Having that sorted out. The other one that I think is super helpful for our treatment plants is our digital twins. Right now, we make adjustments on our plants based on history, based on experience, but you can have a model of your plant that gives you really good predictive methods on how to run your plant. We're having challenges with our source water right now for the treatment plant because we have a drought condition. Having a digital twin that can train on this data to help us operate better is going to lead to better public health, reduce operating costs. So I don't want you to think that this is just integrating a couple softwares and we should just focus on that. This is like setting the vision for how we use our information, how the information comes to us, how different departments. We're doing things right now that just are taking lots and lots of time. And we need better, like the tools are in place now that we can save lots of time on how we do our billing. I mean, there's efficiencies that I think here that will generate true value, in addition to the things that, Steve was talking about. So I understand you're concerned about the cost, but I feel like we absolutely need this to be able to move us out of kind of like where we are right now.
I appreciate that. I mean, one of my pet peeves, or whatever you want to call it, you call the efficiency, and we see the efficiency, but then when we come to our budgeting, we add in resources. So I'm just calling that every time we talk about efficiency to me has to be tangible. If it's not tangible to me, then you can't call it efficiency. It's all small things, right? So I'm all for it. I think it gives you efficiency, but the efficiency has to have some impact on your bottom line. Otherwise, we just spend the money with the purpose of efficiency and we never realize it on the bottom line. To me, that's not efficiency. That's a nice thing to have. I might be wrong. I'm willing to challenge whoever has it, but again, that's the way I always look at the efficiency. Make the work easier, the data accessible, therefore has to have some tangible efficiency for the organization.
Can I just ask one more question? So again, as a complete outsider on this stuff, who doesn't understand, but things, I think I do understand. It seems like all the AI related things are changing so quickly. Do you have any fear that anything we're gonna do now, a year from now, is gonna be like, well, this is 10 times better than it was 6 months ago or anything like that? Is that a concern for you?
It's the nature of technology. Every 18 months, it's half as big and twice as fast.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Jeff, we have Macro, the project manager in Ben County from Black and Veatch on the line. And that's actually, Ben, did you hear this question?
I did.
You've been through this kind of process with, other places throughout the country and everybody facing the same kind of, could you offer your perspective on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think that one of the things that we're seeing many utilities struggle with AI is it feels like it's just a magic button, and to really be able to get the value out of it, everything that Steve and Chris have been talking about is really the foundation of what's going to ultimately make artificial intelligence valuable to LCA. It's making sure that you have the integrations, and where that really becomes important for AI, it's really all about the context layer. So you may have all these different pieces of software, but if the project ID or the asset ID is different, when you try to ask an AI model to analyze that, it's going to come back with garbage, right? Because it doesn't understand the actual organizational context. So a lot of the work that this master plan is going to be focused on is how do we prepare the LCA data environment to leverage AI most effectively. And so, there's going to be multiple fronts on this. So AI is going to make it easier and faster to do these integrations, to write the queries that would have taken a long time in the past. So we're going to be looking to leverage that, but then also really setting up the entire data environment to be optimized for the context that's needed to be able to ask natural language questions of your data. Ultimately, that's really the goal that this is going to set the foundation for.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I don't know if that helped, and it's, yeah,
Thank you.
perfect.
Do we have a mechanism to measure the customer satisfaction index?
We collect information on every call that our customer representatives take daily for here suburban division and for the city division. It's one of our goals to build the actual dashboard to report those metrics out. We do collect the information, yes, but again,
I mean, for example, if I call somebody, I don't know, AT&T, say if you wanna, at the end, if you wanna, leave comment, press 2, right? Do we have such a feature? People leave comment on their experience with our customer services?
we currently do not.
So how do we collect customers' input on our services?
We have our survey.
We have the postcard survey. We do not have a digital survey that I'm aware of.
We've done some spot online surveys for getting that kind of feedback also.
That is something we have to look into it, right? Because survey is 6 months past on road, right? But you need, right there, the customer feedback and somebody look at how satisfied customers are with our work that we're doing. I think it's essential to improve our customer services.
And honestly, that could be the outcome of this master plan, the survey, because they're going to be
I'm
evaluated.
asking that question at the end.
I'll give them an extra weighted point.
I will guarantee you that will be a question I will ask.
I'll make sure you have it.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to add a quick comment to Amir's thoughts on this. I guess those of us that have been through these kinds of large-scale IT master plan endeavors, the fear you always have is getting drowned in the never-ending IT project. And I've seen a couple of those, and the money mounts up super fast. So I was just checking back through the Black and Veatch presentation on what the checkpoints are along the way here. Like, where do we check in on, are we making progress to expectation? I see reference to a meeting with the board in December the 15th. Just throwing out the question of am I reading it right? Or are there other intermediate milestone check-ins where we can compare what we plan to do versus what we actually accomplish before it goes wildly different from what we expected?
We have about a dozen check-ins planned. They weren't with the board, so forgive me. Are you asking to have more periodic board and check-ins along the way?
Well, that would be an open question for this discussion, I think, if we thought that was appropriate. Bearing in mind, many of us have only had user-end experience of how these things go, but the concern is, boy, would I like to see this going off track early? Yes. Rather than find out on December 15th that we needed $500,000 or whatever it was.
I think Lisa was going to say something, but just before when we get through task 4, there will be the current state assessment, what we have, how we operate, and the gap analysis, what we're missing would be complete. And that might be a good time to have a discussion so that when we start talking about the visioning of where we're going, just so everybody has an understanding of what we have and what's missing.
Yeah, and just to jump in there, Steve, we have it structured with specific gate reviews throughout the project. So the entire steering committee, the executive team will be informed all the way along as part of the project. So there shouldn't be any surprises in December. The goal is to get that input early so that we can change course if needed.
Okay.
On Kevin's comment, I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out somewhere that you think is an important gate for a decision to go forward. Bring an update to the board.
Great idea. Yeah.
Kevin, does that work for you?
Yes. I mean, the kind of thing I'm concerned about is if you spend half the money, you're 10% of the way there. There's all these complexities that weren't anticipated, and now it's another $1 million.
Understood.
Thank you, Kevin. Any other question from the board member? You're not. Okay, we have the capital that see in front of us, for the IT master plan for the LCA, for the amount of $425,084.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Jeff, second by Linda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. You got the deal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Here,
Yes.
can I just ask for clarification? Sean came in for the tail end and I wasn't sure if he voted or not on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I reviewed what had been provided. Given I wasn't here for the presentation, I just came on. I can abstain if that would be appropriate. I did vote in favor.
Sorry.
He said he would abstain because he wasn't here for,
Okay.
but he did vote in favor. He is in favor.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay. There's nothing on the water and the wastewater. We have monthly project update. So the pages 58 to 65.
We do have wastewater, the industrial pretreatment
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
project. Yeah.
Yes.
No problem. I actually don't have much to offer. I just, before we leave our thoughts off of the IT master plan, I want to thank everyone for taking a leap of faith with us and Steve and Chris in particular for the leadership of trying to corral all the ideas into a really good, what we think is going to be a really good project. The industrial pretreatment plant master plan discussion. This is kind of a standing agenda item because hopefully fast moving decision making, we hope, with some of our key stakeholders. So the focus at this point is still on obtaining commitment from others, primarily the County of Lehigh and Upper Macungie Township, to support this project and the operation of this facility long term. We don't have anything specific yet from them, but we are continuing to have good discussions with both of those. In addition, I'm hoping maybe by next week we'll have some not next week, next meeting, we'll have some update on that. We also have a project funding request going into the Representative McKenzie, Senator Fetterman, and Senator McCormick office that has March deadlines to it. So we're kind of moving that forward for a piece of the pretreatment plant, which I think would be helpful in gaining additional support. And just as an indication of, I think, how far along we've come, at least with these stakeholder discussions, we do have letters of support from the county and Upper Macungie Township saying in writing that they will support this project. And that's part of the grant application. So need a little more than a support letter from them, but we're making progress and wanted to share that with you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Now we can move to the project.
Yep.
Please.
The project update report you have attached to the packet. This report, if you look at what's ahead for the next meeting on the 23rd of March, the only things we have at this point are the monthly financial review and the monthly ops report. We don't have any other projects at this point. So we, depending on where we are with the pretreatment plant, we may request a cancellation of that meeting, but we'll discuss that next week sometime. There's a couple items in the open project list that are marked as project closeout, specifically the large diameter valve rehab projects, the first phase of that, and the Western Lehigh interceptor test and seal lateral grouting project. So those will come off this time because they are. That's all I have.
Thank you. I think that's all the items we have for today, right? Oh, okay. Any staff comment? Thank you. So any comment?
No comments, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any public comment?
No, thank you, Amir.
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Any board member comment?
Comment.
Okay.
Lisa, are we applying for any federal funds for the pretreatment plant?
That's what this recent application that I mentioned is for, going to Representative McKenzie and the two senators, Fetterman and McCormick. That's federal funding through the Clean Water Revolving Fund, through the federal appropriations process.
Well, perhaps if we decide to name the project the Trump sewage treatment plant, the funds will be more available.
Well, this project is going to take at least 10 years to complete before we do a naming ceremony, so.
Oh, rats. Okay, I withdraw the suggestion.
We call it 10 Lion Project, how about that?
Yeah, I was about to say 10 lines.
Okay, if there is no other items, the meeting is adjourned. Guys, if you don't mind, let's meet in 5 minutes so we don't have to, waste too much time. So let's meet at 12:40. Okay, 12:40 for our executive session. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, guys. Have a great week.